What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to TwistedYounginz, the most unorthodox show on the globe. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode, supporting us. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you all like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I am one of your hosts, Myra B. King.
And this is Desi Dez.
And it's your boy Mojo in the building. We have a special guest with us today, sir. Let the people know who you are.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dkg Kie, straight from Detroit down to the A.
Okay. All right. So from Detroit, right? So, well, let's get into it. How was it for you growing up in Detroit, for starters?
It was cool. Honestly, it was cool. Like growing up, was born and raised in Detroit, and then my parents ended up, like I told y'all before we started recording, my parents ended up moving me to a better area because I was a hooper. And I was gifted. I was like that, you know. so yeah, they wanted me to be in a better area with better opportunities and whatnot. So honestly, it was good. I got to see both sides. So because I still have family that were in rougher areas, still knew people who was in rougher areas. So I would be there from time to time. But at the same time, you know, being in the so-called better areas, I got better opportunities and was really able to see both sides of the spectrum for real.
Okay. Now, what position did you play in basketball?
Man, I was really a shooting guard. So I started off at point guard when I was younger, and I just shot up and got a little wider. So they moved me to the 2/3.
Okay. So
were you out in them streets out there in Detroit, even though you moved to the good neighborhood? Were you out in them streets, you smoking and drinking, doing your thing out there?
For sure. And what's funny too is like my parents, like I said, my parents did a real good job at, I was raised in the church. So they were able to maneuver me a little bit. But what's funny, like I preached my first sermon at 11, but that's all I knew. So after that, I just went off and did my own thing. So when I went to college and was hooping and everything like that, that's when I started to smoke, drink, party, sell dope. And that was when my real testimony really started around like 18. I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
So let's start right there then. Your testimony of how that started. And you said it started in college. Right.
Yeah.
College. So you're in college. You selling drugs? Are you playing basketball as well?
Yeah, I was doing both at the time. So it's funny. Me and my parents were just talking about it. So my freshman year, I went to a Christian college, and it was real sheltered. It kind of reminded me of home a little bit. So I wanted to get out. So I ended up putting in my transfer papers and went to another school that I ain't gonna name it, but I went to another school. It was just and it was a lot of different bad influences there. It was a total different environment. And it really was it was really like Detroit, like inner city Detroit for real. This school was. So, but I ended up clicking up with some people and some stuff kind of happened where I kind of walked away from my core values for real and put basketball on the back burner. And my dad, it's funny, my dad ended up coming up to my school one day and kind of just going through all my stuff because him and my mom just had a feeling I was doing something. And they found a couple things, whatever. And after that, they like, yeah, we're not sending you no more money. Like, you're going to have to figure this out. So after that, it was like, all right, bet. Like, I started clicking up with the wrong people. And that's how I got into selling for a minute.
What was that like? What was that roller coaster like? What was it like selling drugs, smoking, drinking, partying? I'm assuming, different women as well. What was that whole lifestyle like?
It was crazy. I tell people to this day, like, I'm not one of these dudes that like to walk around like it's a badge. Like, I don't like to, because I'm not proud of it. But it was weird going from being raised in church, like I said, preaching my first sermon at 11, doing the plays on Easter and all that, being really, really involved. And then going from that to now I'm in the street, just doing whatever I wanted to do. And it was funny, like God never left me. That was the crazy part. Like I would still hear from God from time to time, like, all right, don't go to this party. And then 2 hours later, I hear it got shot up. You know what I'm saying? So it was weird. I was conflicted because I wanted to be accepted by who I was around at the time. But I also knew like I can't go too far because God is the one who got me here in the first place.
What was your lowest point going through all that all? Like, what's that true testimony in you? You know what I mean? Like, I see you touching over it briefly. You know what I mean? Yeah. But for the audience that's going to be watching this, you have some people going through that as well now and maybe trying to come out of that. And some may think it's cool. You know what I mean? And some may be lukewarm. You know what I mean? So could you touch on that a bit?
Yeah, I would say, I think my lowest point is when I dropped out. We actually ended up getting drug tested. And that was like the first thing. Like, so my coach ended up finding out I was smoking weed. Said I was like my first and second strike because he had caught me twice. And then after that, I let my grades slip. So after that, he was just like, listen, you got to sit out for the rest of the season. You can come back next year if you want. But my dad was just telling me like pretty much like you already showing me you can't do this. So you might as well just come home. So I ended up dropping out, and you know, I had to work. So I ended up going down to Indiana for some work. And my family is out there. Half my family's out there, my dad's side. So one night I was with my cousin. We were just sitting at the house, and I actually touched on this in a couple of songs. But me and my cousin was just chilling. We was looking for something to do. And he said, you know, let's go to the club. So I said, okay, why not? So I go back to my hotel. And again, even in my mess, I'm hearing clear, like, do not go to the club. So I called him like, man, I'm going to take a rain check. Like, I don't think we should be out tonight. Long story short, about 4 a.m, my mom called me like screaming and crying, like, where are you at? Where you at? And I tell her I'm at the hotel. Why? And she like, well, your cousin just got killed. They set him up. So pretty much put up on him at a red light, lit the entire car. So anybody who would have been with him would have got killed as well. So that was my first like realization, like, okay, I'm tripping. So after that, I was still hard headed. At the funeral, what happened? Oh, at the funeral, that's, you know, a lot of times with black families, sometimes you see them cousins and all them family members you ain't seen in a couple years or whatever. So I'm seeing people I ain't seen in a minute. So they like, you know, let's go out to the club tonight. So I said, okay, go out to the club. Long story short, got into a little situation there and ended up getting arrested. Right after that, after I'm dealing with all of those issues, my mama just pretty much called me and said, Kai, this is your wake-up call. I'm hearing God say it clear as day. Like, this is your wake-up call. If you don't wake up now, it's death or jail, period, point blank. And I had seen so much already and was scarred from just seeing what happened with my cousin that I'm looking like, okay, this is a smack in the face to God. God didn't already save me from death 2 weeks ago. And then I'll turn around and get arrested after this boy funeral. So it's like, I got to get my life together. And right after that is when I started preaching and / youth pastor.
Okay.
What were you preaching on?
Honestly, they people say I'm a grace preacher because I never really liked how do I say this without offending nobody? A lot of times in church we hear about hell so much that it seems like the preacher is trying to scare the congregation into doing right, which I get it. Hell is a very real place. We don't want to be there, X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, it's like when you're trying to teach somebody how to love God or how to follow God, I feel like you have to lead with love. Because at the end of the day, you can't fear somebody into loving you. So it's like I tell people all the time, just like with my parents, I'm a 24-year-old man, been living by myself for 3-4 years now. Out of love for them, I'll still check on them. I'll still go over there, help out with the yard work, and, you know, I'll still serve them out of love. I'm not scared they're going to whoop me. I'm not scared they're going to put me on punishment. It's not a fear thing. The reason that I'm honoring them and serving them is strictly off of love. So especially when I do have the chance to minister, even if it's not on a pulpit, if it's just talking to somebody, just like a conversation like this, I always try my best to lead with love and to show people just how much God loves them. Because when you understand the depth of God's love, you'll love him back. And out of that love, you're not even going to want to do wrong.
Amen.
I mean, are you still struggling with any sin still today?
Yeah, I feel like everybody has they struggle, because I tell people like this: when you go through a deliverance, people feel like, you pray. Let's just say it's weed addiction. And I've seen this so many times where people will pray and they go to church, they get delivered, and for like 2-3 days, they walk around like they Superman because they feel like, oh, it's gone and it ain't never gonna come back. Those spirits, they leave for a second, but they lay dormant and they just wait on a window or a crack to come back in. So that's the importance of living a holy life, or continuously fasting, continuously reading your word, because when we don't do that, it leaves opportunity for the enemy to come in. So most definitely, we all struggle. For example, I'll just touch on this. Like, I was in the world, I was a real hothead. So I was just one of those guys, always had a chip on my shoulder, especially coming from where I come from. I just, the stereotype is light-skinned dudes look like they soft and X, Y, and Z and, whatever. So I always had a chip on my shoulder because of that and because of other things. So that's definitely something that I'm definitely praying and fasting about still to this day. It's just to lose the chip, off of my shoulder. That way I don't put myself in any stupid situations.
Are you married?
No, sir. No, sir. I definitely want to be for sure. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that one. I'm waiting on that one.
So you live in fornication?
No, don't live in fornication. That's one thing. So if I'm dating somebody, that's number one. Whether you're a virgin, whether you have a past, whether you got bodies, however you want to call it, that's one of my qualifications. Is we have to do this thing the right way. Meaning it can't be no sex. And this may sound corny, and I'm gonna just be honest. Like I don't even want to try nothing close to sex. Yeah, you might can give me a kiss goodbye, X, Y, and Z, but I know myself, and I tell people all the time, you can get close to the, I ain't gonna go in detail, but you can get close to the edge of sex and stop right there. But I know myself, and I know where I come from. So for me, I don't even want to play around with it because I'm the type of person, I'm not going to stop at no edge. Like you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile. So why even play with it? So no, I don't live in fornication. I definitely practice abstinence.
How long have you been celibate?
And you ain't hit something.
I want to say for two. You said what? say it again. I ain't gonna lie.
You ain't hit.
Hey man, you ain't hit something, dog. I heard you. Listen, I heard you. And
for sure. This is where I'm, and this is what's funny. This is why I love y'all podcast. Was whenever somebody reach out to me, I always do my research, and I was showing my dad the other day one of y'all clips. Man, y'all keep it real, y'all keep it a band, and I love that. So it's been probably a year. I've definitely slipped since I started. Because when I started, I want to say that was 4 years ago when I started, and that was the thing. Besides the anger that stayed, so cussing that miraculously left the next day. The weed and the alcohol, that was something I was able to get over. But for some reason, that fornication, it was still there because that lust is such a strong spirit. So that's why I said I take extra precaution to make sure I'm not in them situations, especially being down here in Atlanta. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, like it's everywhere.
I'm with you. Listen, I understand you, brother.
You got that chain. Look like you got a nice car.
Okay.
Were you how long? So did you used to watch porn? Have you been delivered from porn?
Yep. That was definitely something that I struggled with at a young age because I was the kid that thought, okay, I'm gonna watch porn instead of having sex because I'm not physically doing it, which I didn't understand at the time because a lot of times in church, you may hear don't watch porn or don't have sex, but they don't really give you the in-depth reasons why. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna just watch porn so I don't have to actually do it for real. But I didn't realize I was creating a monster, not only because it's opening a door for me to want to do it, but now I'm looking at every woman on the street like she's just a piece of meat and I'm not respecting. So that's definitely, like I said, that's definitely a door that I continue to fight and keep off my back just because I know that that's another window right into fornication.
Man.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that rapper that just got killed? The
PNB.
Yeah, with the PNB climb, for his rappers getting killed for their, jewelry and everything. Do you ever think about that?
Most definitely.
It's hot out there now.
I mean, look, you checking in?
Oh, look, no, most definitely. I will say one thing. No, we protected. We legally protected, but at the same time, no, it's definitely some years I take into consideration. Like, mind you, y'all peep right now. I can show y'all the neighborhood I'm staying in. It's a nice, you know what I'm saying? It's a nice neighborhood. It's out the way. And then on top of that, I'm in the car right now. So like, just for instance, if we going out to the studio or just little runs and stuff like that. If I ain't got to have it on, I ain't gonna have it on. I'll throw it on for a video, for an interview, little things like that, and I keep it tucked for sure, just off the strength. It ain't even about being soft. Like a lot of people got to get out of that mindset of, oh, I ain't tucking my stuff because ain't nobody. Yeah, you can take it off my dead body. Yeah, you exactly right. They will take it off your dead body. And you feel me? So yeah, most definitely.
How is your circle? Like, are they all followers of Christ too? Is it, like your core circle that you hang around with? How do they feel about you being a follower of Christ, like your ways that you're walking in, or is everyone on the same page?
No, for sure. Everybody on the same page. So for instance, the guys, I'm not sure if y'all seen them on my page, but the guys that I mostly do music with and connect with, Zanti, I Project, 2J Mako, Benaya, they heavy hitters in Christian rap as well. And we all on the same tip. You know what I'm saying? We all have our different struggles, but that's why I love this group of guys, because I may struggle with one thing, Z may struggle with something else, vice versa, whatever. But we're Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but we're always able to hold each other accountable. And we are the group that's not about to just let somebody slip. Like if I see somebody trying to, oh, I think I might want to spark up today, it's going to be a whole fight. And they know it. It might go to blows if they got to. But at the end of the day, what we're not going to do is let one of our brothers slip for sure. Because it look bad on all of us, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Amen.
I feel you on what you was talking about, you know, when you were saying, you know, your first sermon, you know, a lot of pastors, they tend to preach hell, hell, hell. And I mean, it's a scary thing, but you know, you got a lot of people out here nowadays that are claiming that they pastors and they motivational speakers. To be honest with you, they ain't telling you the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fear of the Lord, you know, that's wisdom, but to depart from your evil ways, that's where your understanding got to be. So
exactly.
It's a little bit dicey in between the two. Now, what I want to be honest with you about, I watched your music when we first reached out to you. I said, dude, this ain't no Christian rap. Don't send me this. This ain't no Christian rap. This boy got on ski mask. He sound like shoot, shoot, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? So my question is how do you differentiate your music from regular secular music? Because like I said, as just off of first glance, without listening to the music, just off first glance, looking at your videos, I'm like, man, this ain't a Christian rap. I'm going to keep it moving. I don't even listen to rap, so I'm going to keep it moving. But how do you make that differentiation, or how do you make that difference in between your music and what they're doing in secular rap, especially with you being out there in Atlanta, the hottest rap scene, you know, coming of the last few decades?
Yeah, for sure. So it's like, I look at it like this. The main reason I do what I do, whether it's ministering, whether it's making music, is to win souls. And the Bible says a wise man wins souls. So at the end of the day, if we're going to win souls, what I look at, and this ain't no slack to any other Christian rappers, because I love the entire community. I love everybody. You feel me? Like we've worked together in X, Y, and Z. But what I feel like is this: if you making music, right? Like, okay, let me go back. If you want to win souls, the lost souls, the ones that's selling drugs, the ones that's stripping, the ones that's doing the wrong, that's in the street. At the end of the day, you making a Christian rap song that, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't sound like anything that they would want to listen to, they're not gonna hear you. Because they gonna hear the beat, they gonna hear the lyrics, and they just be like, you know what, I'm cutting this off. And I've had situations where when I first started rapping, I got that flack. I still get that flack. That's why a lot of churches don't book. So and I understand that. But what I'm doing is I'm taking a secular sounding beat, which is that Detroit style, that Atlanta style, and I will say things like Bible Blicky, or like my whole brand is the Demon Killer. So people hear that, and I've had people come up to me that's in the street that don't know nothing about church. That's like, bro, keep doing what you're doing. I didn't even know you was a Christian rapper, and I kept listening, and you got a message. So at the end of the day, people don't understand music ministers to people. So you can be listening to the music the entire time, and just because it's a hard beat, not even knowing I'm a Christian rapper, but it's ministering to you, because I'll still throw the scriptures out there. I'm still talking about God in every song. And even when I first started, if I'm being honest, in my first couple of albums, I really had to sit down and reset, because I'm like, okay, now this stuff is sounding too much like the world. I have to continue to throw my God references in, to throw my Bible scriptures in, to keep pointing everything back to God. So even on this next album coming up, the last song is going to be the prayer of salvation. So if anybody want to get saved, repeat that thing word for word. After every show, we do an altar call. Yeah, we in here with the ski mask. We in here, you know, wilding out, mosh pit, and X, Y, and Z. But my last song that I always do is called Set Me Free, where it's talking about my personal struggles and how I want to get closer to God. And right after that, we open up the stage and pulpit, wherever it may be, for altar calls. Constantly, no matter what I look like with the tattoos, it's just constantly showing people. Like I said, yeah, I got tattoos. I like jewelry. Might throw a ski mask on from time to time and X, Y, and Z just because of our cultural background. But it's constantly pointing everything back to God.
You know what, brother? Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Me and Dez had this conversation a couple times. And what I just told you is what I stand on. But what I will say, your explanation, what you just gave me, I'll accept it. I take that. Because I feel like there should be a separation in between the two. You know, when you come to Christ, there should be a separation. Secular music and Christian rap shouldn't sound the same. Beat-wise, maybe. But the whole look and everything like that. But your explanation you just gave me, brother, I accept it. I take that.
Because it would have, I guess it would have to press play on that. You know what I'm saying? But seeing them like, oh, okay. Well, then once you hear it and start digesting, you realize them, it's a Christian rap. Like,
yeah, I said you finessing them. They sitting in there, they turn and everything, and then next thing you know, somebody, you know, a gangster might come in the crib like, man, what is this?
Yeah, because y'all gotta think about it. Like the enemy has used music to finesse us for so long.
Yeah.
Why can't we do the same thing?
Absolutely.
a little, and I'm not gonna get too, politically incorrect and go all deep into it, but y'all get what I'm saying. He throwing these little references out there. He dressing up the men and taking masculinity away. He finessing us, and it's right in front of our eyes. So like at the end of the day, cool. If you want to use music for your benefit, I'm gonna turn around and do the same thing. I'm gonna finesse the gangsters out the clubs. I'm gonna finesse the strippers. I'm gonna finesse the drug dealers, the whole nine, and I'm gonna still get a church something to rock with.
That's what I'm talking about.
What I was thinking about. How do you find your churches like to perform at? Like you just reach out to all the churches?
No, so the way it go, some people may do that, but honestly, they'll come. So like different festivals, different little stuff will happen, and they'll just reach out and just say, hey, we want to book you. How can we get in contact? If you have a manager, or can we get to you personally, X, Y, and Z. So no, I haven't ever reached out to a church or any venues like that to say, hey, can I perform? It's always, like I said, I'll just let it come. Same thing with features. I don't even post feature deals on my story no more. It's like, hey, if you want a feature from me, you got my Instagram, you got my DM. I'm very reachable. I try to check my stuff every day, every 2 days, or whatever. So yeah, I just let it come to me.
Amen.
Okay. How often are you in the Word? How often do you read the Bible?
Every day, and that's not an exaggeration. That's not a cap. Literally every day. Like, especially since I've been down here, we've made that, because I'm down here with some of the guys that I mentioned with y'all. And we literally, if I could take y'all in the house, we have a whiteboard that I set up the other day where we literally have our schedules written out for every day. And at the top of that is, I don't care what we got to do for the day. If we got to wake up at 7, we still spending an hour with God individually. And if we want to come together as a collective and read the Bible or pray together, X, Y, and Z, then that's cool. But at the end of the day, it's a self-check. It's, hey, I know for a fact I can't start my day without talking to God, without getting some type of word, because I notice a difference. So it's like if I wake up and just get right to it, stuff just start happening left and right. I'm not prepared for it, or certain things may get canceled or X, Y, and Z. Now I got an attitude. The days when I'm starting my days in the Word and talking to God, when little loopholes and little curveballs try to hit me, I can handle it so much better, because it's like God dang near already prepared me for it. 9 times out of 10, He didn't try to tell me something in prayer, so I'm prepared for it.
Man,
do you celebrate the holidays?
What holidays we talking about?
Come on, you in the Bible, you know what the holidays are.
The pagan.
Oh, for sure not. Yeah, no. I definitely
and keep it real,
For sure, no. I'm gonna always keep it a band for sure. So Halloween is an absolute no for me. I ain't never been trick or treating in my life. Never been to a haunted house. None of that, and not even because my parents made me. I've always been a kid. My spirit was very sensitive.
Okay,
so
Christmas.
Even when it comes to scary movies,
and Easter.
Christmas, yes. Easter, I don't call it Easter. We call it Resurrection Sunday. So we don't do the whole. I'm not doing the whole Easter egg. The whole Easter eggs and the bunny rabbits and all X, Y, and Z. No slack to nobody that do it. But that's just, I know what that day is supposed to represent.
No, so, big slack to them, man. You represent pagan God.
Yeah, that's Tamus.
And that's
like Minerva and all that. But Christmas, Minerva and her son, that's what Christmas and Easter and all of that is. That's their holidays. Remember, we had, now I don't even know our true holidays, but we had our holidays in the Bible. But these holidays are just strictly paganism, the sun god, you know what I mean? Yep. All that stuff, you know what I mean? And not to harp on it too long, but that's something this year that I want to practice. I told my family that I'm not celebrating the holidays, because by me celebrating, I'm still partaking in that worship.
Absolutely.
Sure. So even
celebrate family any day. It doesn't take me to wait to Christmas to eat and send a gift. I can do that today or tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. So it's even like the Jewish. I'm not sure if you guys have ever read or gotten to like the Jewish holidays and stuff that it talks about in the Bible, like the feast days and Rosh Hashanah and things like that. So I definitely pay attention to things like that. Like Rosh Hashanah just passed. So we've been really studying that at my ministry back home. My pastor is huge on that, and just taking consideration and taking those in. So that's definitely something I definitely want to study more, because I'm not just to the point where I can just have an in-depth, crazy conversation about it, but it's definitely something I want to study more. But it is something that we recognize for sure.
All right, before we get out of here, man, who are we in the Bible?
What do you mean, who are we in the Bible? Can you rephrase that for me?
Our ethnicity. Who are we in the Bible? Where are we?
You said, where are we?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Are we asking? So I've heard this a couple different times, or a couple different ways, should I say? So, are you saying the Hebrew Israelite? Are we going that?
Yeah. We are the Negroes. Yeah.
We're the children of Israel. Definitely. Most definitely. I do believe that. What I don't, just because, like I said, I'm not somebody who, how do I word it? I'm not somebody that like to just jump into stuff and get to, spewing different things out if I haven't studied in depth about it. Mm-hmm. But I do believe for sure, number one, Jesus was black. Amen. That's something that I'm gonna stand on. He was a colored man for sure. I feel like we have enough evidence for that. And I do feel like, we are children of Israel. I just feel like I said, it's certain things that I don't agree with from what I've heard. Like I said, I haven't studied this in depth, but it is some certain stuff that I haven't agreed with some of the Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters that I've talked to.
Oh, well, that's different. That's different.
We just talking about blood.
Yeah, we sticking hands.
We're not saved by that. No, we're saved by Jesus Christ.
But at the end of the day,
the Israelites, they formed their own values of the law and all that, but Hebrews, in general, like you said, the children of Israel, you know what I mean?
That's Christians. Now
a lot of them, they still in the old.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't even go to the New Testament. They still digging out the Old Testament. A lot of them, they built that hatred of certain ethnicities.
It's just we let people know our history is in the Bible. Yeah. Like everybody else know their history. Everybody else know where they come from. But we, the only people that don't. I'm just telling people that our history is in the Bible. And so even when we talk to a brother, some of them will take Jesus, they'll believe in Jesus, or some of them say, I don't believe in nothing but God, or I just believe in a higher power. And I always let them know before I go, if I can't hang you on to Jesus, let me hang you on to something I know for a fact you don't know. You don't know you the children of the Most High. You don't know that you are a Negro. You are a child of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know you're a king of Judah. You came from the kingdom of Judah. So it's right there on the map. You just got to do your own research, Yeah. So I know if somebody would told me this when I was younger, I would have followed Christ at an earlier age until, you know what I'm saying? Like rather than going out and getting in these streets. So
absolutely, man.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Do you have anything in the upcoming future that we should know about, as far as albums, shows, videos, or anything like that coming out?
Yeah. Me and the guys that I was talking about, we're actually going on tour October 26th. Through the 30th, so it'll be around the Texas area. We're doing a Texas run first. First day to be in Kansas City on the 26th, and then the rest will be in Texas. And then I know we got another run to do in November, but I got to figure out. I want to say it's in Florida. But most definitely, my boy Zonti, you guys can look him up. Definitely, like I said, another heavy hitter in Christian rap. He has his album dropping October 28th, which I'll be featured on as well. The whole collective, all the guys, it's about to be something crazy. And right after that, that's when I'll be following up with my album in mid-November.
Okay. All right. And you said Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas?
I want to say Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
I just want to say I appreciate you guys as well. First off, giving honor to God for even allowing this to happen. But I definitely do want to appreciate y'all because, like you said, it's not a lot of platforms that's doing this for real, that's giving Christian rappers a voice for real. Just like y'all said, y'all didn't really know about them. It's for a reason. A lot of people don't really give us that voice. We got to kind of go out and take something or make our own platform or something like that. So, no, I definitely really do appreciate this. This was dope, for real.
Oh, absolutely,
no problem, man. You have a good one, man.
God bless you.
All right, y'all too.
Take it easy.